down to the canals to do a bit of fishing for giants down there, but you can't drive past this place without stopping to check out the giant salmon. Look at that, awesome. Morning and welcome to another adventure. Chasing monster fish and trying to pick one up on the fly rod. I've put in quite a few days here. I was here a few weeks ago when there was a hoarfrost, and man, that was some tough fishing conditions. The hoarfrost is when there's like a fog or a cloud that blocks out the sun totally, and as long as the temperature stays below zero, things just keep freezing and freezing and freezing. And I think we had about -3 or -5, and because it's a fog, hardly any visibility, but didn't stop me from fishing. And I was stalking around and didn't really do too well, so I've come back for a second trip and I've been fishing all week. Again, the fishing's been tough. I got a couple of fish earlier on the dry fly, which is great, just stalking around the edges, but they weren't really what I was after. I was hoping to get one of these big monsters that you see and hear about. I have caught a couple of big ones before, but that was on the spinning rod thread lining, so I needed to change things up, and this time with the fly rod, see if we can catch one using traditional fly fishing methods. So we've just got through a moon phase, which I think didn't help the fishing, and now I think after a little bit of a cold snap in the moon phase, I think the fishing's about to get good. So we're going to go for a walk around today. We're going to be looking to sight fish for these absolute monsters. We're probably not going to worry too much about the smaller fish. We're just going to be targeting a big one. I'll show you what setup I'm using. So basically I've got an 8-foot clear poly leader on my floating line, and off the back of that I've got about 10 feet of straight 8-pound nylon to a tippet ring, and then I've got about another 2 meters, so about another 6 feet of 6-pound fluorocarbon in the tippet, and basically got an indicator. So the indicator's right back above, about halfway up the 8-pound, so I've got probably about 3 meters below the indicator to my first nymph. And a lot of people are using eggs at the moment, so it seems silly not to tie one of those on. I did have a bit of luck the other day with a special fly that I tied, a little black fly that's probably imitating either a snail or a midge, so I'll be using that. But for the moment I've tied on, it's a green herring copper. Got a big solid indicator. There's so much glare, I think having a bright indicator, and the red's actually quite good for the glare. And then down to a glow bug. And I've gone with a strong hook because earlier in the week I said I had some luck with this little black fly that I tied, and I tied it in a 16, which is just what I had, and I think the fish was a big one. I reckon it was probably in the region of 15-pound, and I wasn't filming actually, I was just having fun fishing. So I sight fished and hooked the fish, and it took a big run right out into the middle, couple of jumps, and then sat out in the middle of the canal. And I just really wasn't really thinking clearly, and I put some weight on the fish to try and pull it back. I mean, what a stupid idea that was. It was only 5 minutes into the battle with a 15-pounder, and the hook came out. I got it back and the hook had been straightened a bit, so that's why I'd pulled out. So yeah, the old standard gauge wire size 16, not good enough. So I've retied a bunch in the B110, the Koto San grub hook, which is the strong hook, and just made the actual pattern of the fly small, even though the hook's a bit bigger. And yeah, we're going to be fishing with strong hooks, and we're going to be targeting the big fish. So that's the setup I'm using. No tapered leader, I don't think it's needed, but I think that clear poly leader at the top will be handy to keep the fly line hidden from the fish, because I think, you know, people used to think these canal fish, they're easy and they don't count. I can tell you that after a week of searching for them and stalking them, they are tricky fish, and they do 100% count. So yeah, let's hope today's the day. Let's hope that we can hook one of these big ones, and let's go for a search, see if we can find a fish, catch a fish, and that's pretty much the plan for today. Let's go. So much light and shadow. Although the light today is beautiful, it's also a bit of a challenge because there's a really long shadow, and I had just mega line shadow casting down this way in front of the fish. So yeah, I need to rethink this. I don't know if this is going to work, but what a beautiful day. You almost couldn't think of a better place to be fishing right now, and this isn't even in the backcountry. We'll keep searching. I quite like the look of this spot. Salmon farms, and she did a measure of this part of the canal with my maps. It's 29 meters wide, so it's very fly fishing friendly because you can get a cast almost right out. Some of the other sections are like, I think they were like 70-80 meters wide, so they're just too big. But I had a bit of a cast here, putting a drift alongside the cages just to see if I could pick anything up. But no luck. I was using like a big terrestrial, just seeing if I could entice one of those big brown beasts up. But nah, no luck, so keep searching. Fishing's been a bit tricky, so we're going to have a bit of a break today. Do something different. We're going to go for a hike, and we're going to go up there, top of the mountain. Should be a real cool view, and what a day for it. It's afternoon, so it's warmed up, the frost melted, and it snowed about 4 days ago, so good bit of training. Let's go.
Anywhere you say, anywhere you say, anywhere.
Big climb. Country down there, a very dry place to dairy farm, and an amazing place for our hydro canals and the land of huge fish. So that was a cool hike, and now when I look up at that mountain I can remember what it looks like. You can see it from the top. Success. One of those wet days, just like when I was in the North Island. Actually haven't had a lot of rain lately. The canal was just running really nice. I was getting my gear ready, but I didn't have enough weight, so I put on a split shot, and then just when I got set up, this happened.
Hiya!
Oh hey, how's it going?
Good, thank you. I'm Nikki. I'm with Fish and Game, just out doing a licence and regulation check.
Oh yeah, g'day, yeah. No worries.
Thank you.
There you go. So it's pretty cool to see Fish and Game out there educating people and keeping an eye on things around the waterways. After that, the flows stopped now, so I think things have got a bit tough. The fish were sort of feeding, but like I said, I only just really got set up. It was a bit too slow to get there, so try and figure out what else to do. That might be the story of today. There's so much fishing line and rubbish on the ground here. Not sure why you guys leave it, but I've been picking it up and getting rid of it. Seems like a never-ending battle, but definitely worth doing. Something I want to mention in my video, because it is a canal video, maybe there'll be a few of the wider audience that take a look at it. So I just want to talk about fish handling. Just walking around the canals for the last week, I think a lot of people, they get excited and they forget, or maybe they're inexperienced, but people are pretty rough on the fish around here. So I just want to remind you that when you catch the fish, when you net it, just keep it in the net, keep it wet. I've seen people pulling the fish up onto the concrete or the bank, or picking them up with dry hands, and really try hard to keep those fish wet. Have a look at the fish, try and think about how you're going to get the hook out, think about how you're going to take the photograph, all of those things while the fish is still in the net, while the fish is wet. Once you've got a plan together and you've got your forceps, you're ready to remove the hook and all that sort of thing, then try and do it while the fish is in the water, or take it out of the water. If you take the fish out of the water, count to 10, and if it ends up hitting the 10, pop it back in the water while you work through it. So a lot of people, they might still pop the fish back into the water, but as I'm sight fishing and stalking around here and I'm walking up the edges, it's amazing the number of fish you see lying on the bottom dead. So just because you've thrown it back in the water, it doesn't mean it survived, guys. So keep them wet, count to 10, you know, all those sorts of things. One of the other big no-nos is holding the fish up by its tail, dangling. I saw someone doing that. If you think about it, the fish needs, it's not used to being out of the water, it's fully suspended in the water. So if you hold it by the tail, it's going to stretch the spine and really hurt the fish. So please don't do that. Keep it nicely suspended underneath. And the last thing, when you catch those really big fish, they can take on a bit of air inside the stomach. So if you, before you take it up for the photograph, you can feel around the stomach a little bit and it'll burp a little bit, and you just want to expel that air before you go for the photograph, and certainly before you release it, because otherwise with that air it actually is inside the stomach and they're not able to dive back down. So thanks Brad for that tip, and I hope that helps you guys out on the river. If you're releasing, of course, if you're taking the fish for food, those things aren't an issue, but not having a go at anyone with that one. I just really want to spread that information, so hopefully we can all look after this amazing fishery. Let's go have an adventure, let's catch some fish. Solid fish. Then we're going to go downstream, guys. This fish is powerful. There's no way I'm turning it around. Still got more fight. Looks like a double digit. I don't know if it's 15, 20, but it's definitely 8 or 10. I think we're ready to go for the net, and I think I'm going to get wet feet. But it'll totally be worth it. There's a big fish. I'm going to get wet legs on this one, but it's totally going to be worth it. Hey, look! Yeehaw! That is a beast! I think it's heavier than my net, man. I think I called it wrong. 11 pound. Hey, sick. Yeah, I'll walk back and get a photo.
I thought, oh, maybe I should have run off and got it and brought it down to you and filmed you.
Oh, that would have been nice, but no, it's all good, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, have a good day, man.
Oh, mate, that's amazing.
Hope it tastes all right.
Yeah. Look at that, guys. It actually took the nymph. I don't know if you can see that. Look, there's the nymph. After all that glow bugging. Wow. Absolutely unbelievable fish. Look at that. Oh, man. Incredible. Look at it compared to the size of my net, guys. Here's my rod against it. Absolute donkey. Here's the 10 pounder, guys. Unbelievable. That is unbelievable. I have been working so hard for this fish. Been fishing for quite a few days. The fishing's been hard and I did it. I got my 10 pounder on fly. This fish is an absolute tank. I thought it was going to go over 10, but anyway, just so happy with it. So what a tough few days fishing that has been. Been filming for hours and been fishing for days. Solid fish. Thanks to my wife for encouraging me and letting us stay here, and totally worth it. Look at that fish. Big spawning jack. I was worried that I'd foul hooked it, but no. was hungry and it just gobbled that herring copper, and it took what, about half an hour at least to land. It did the job. Mission accomplished. Yes. Run the backing. That is a big, angry jack. £11.5 pounds.